All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music and real issues and doing it in real time for a few real people out there just like you and just like me. All right, going to be talking about the bass player from Skid Row. I know that's going to sound boring to some of you, but it's interesting because he's got some medical advice for people like you and people like me. So we'll check it out. And then I have an article from a very conservative publication, which will factor into this presentation, which is just going to be thrilling from start to finish. You're going to just be happy that you wasted, 8 or 10 minutes on this. The Defiance, they're defying logic. They are a real rock band, by the way. Eddie Trunk says that many of these bands aren't actual rock bands. This is their album called Drive, came out last year. And if you like your rock in the melodic vein, this is it. Guys who can sing, play, write decent songs, great production value, songs that you can sing along to. This is basically the remnant of the band Danger, Danger. Pretty much everybody who gets back to me on the Defiance says, hey, that was really good. Thanks for the recommendation. No problem. Glad to assist. Now, on to Rachel Bolan. Who is Rachel Bolan? Rachel is a dude, by the way, and Rachel plays bass for Skid Row, and he thinks that we should still wear face masks for the dreaded thing, okay? And if you haven't been with this channel for a while, I call that floating particle that got here via China, via Wuhan, China, right? I call that the thing, okay? And I used to do it just to avoid censorship because you start talking and using the C word, people are all in your grill. You got people saying you can't put that on YouTube and so forth. So I'm so used to doing it this way. I may mention the actual C word, or I may just say this C word. Usually people think of another word. But anyway, so Skid Row bassist Rachel Bolan did this interview where he talked about back when, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when Skid Row couldn't perform for fans due to the thing. It was actually due to the government, but anyway. The bassist also shared his thoughts on wearing masks. Oh, I just love this topic, don't you? And he stated that people still should be wearing them. Holy crap, Batman. We should still be masking up, according to Rachel Bolan. He says, granted, I'm not a scientist. All right, so he and I are in the same camp. I'm not a scientist, and he's not a scientist. But remember, there's this article that I'm going to read, and I'm going to get into it shortly. But I think the article makes a case that maybe Rachel's protocol isn't the right one. He says, I don't claim to be a scientist, but I know I had COVID twice. See, I spilled the beans. I said the C word. And both times it felt different. Okay. So there's some kind of mutation going on. Sounds like a song. Some kind of mutation going on. No, doesn't work. I was thinking of some kind of wonderful, but it isn't. It's not wonderful. It's a mutation, according to Rachel Bolan. He says, I'm just glad we're able to go back out and we're able to play. Why are we still talking like this? Why? All the things you could talk about in an interview. Talk about your new lead singer who's really good. Talk about what kind of bass you use. Talk about new material that you put out there. Talk about that you're writing some songs for a new album. Nope, we're going to talk about face masks. Yeah. Anyway, the bassist does not care what others say. He still wears a mask in certain places. I don't care what people say. Again, this is Bolan. I wear a mask on airplanes now. Like all of a sudden, I wasn't wearing a mask on an airplane, but now I'm better than you, so I'm going to wear a mask, and that's going to do absolutely nothing, and I will get to that shortly. He says, I also haven't gotten the flu in a really long time from that, meaning that because I wear a mask on airplanes, I haven't gotten the flu in a really long time. How do you make that connection? Anyway, he's made the connection, so he pretty much knows. But again, I've got the receipts, so I'm just going to throw it out there. Again, the publication, though, is very conservative, but I do want to finish off what he has to say here. He says, everyone does their own thing. Okay. He's trying to sell this to everybody. He says that he hasn't gotten the flu because he wears a mask. And he says, but it is what it is. Everyone does their own thing. I just wish we could all get on the same page and just kind of carry on with life. In other words, you people need to be more like me. If you just wore a mask on an airplane, you wouldn't get the flu. I haven't gotten the flu in a long time. All right, that super conservative publication I told you about. Here it is. The mask mandates did nothing. Will any lessons be learned? This is dated February 21st of 2023 from the New York Times. Oh, that bastion of conservatism, especially on this issue. Man, the New York Times. Here it is. A couple of paragraphs, and then it's game, set, match, and it's done. The most rigorous and comprehensive analysis of scientific studies conducted on the efficacy of masks for reducing the spread of respiratory illnesses, including COVID-19, was published late last month. This was last year. Its conclusions, said Tom Jefferson, not the founding father, but just Tom Jefferson, the Oxford epidemiologist, who is its lead author, were unambiguous. So the results were unambiguous. And this is what he concluded. There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference. And this is what he told journalist Marianne Damasi. Full stop. The article actually says full stop. So they're trying to tell you game, set, match, done. So I'm not sure why it is that people tend to ignore articles like this from the New York Times. And again, I'm no fan of the New York Times, but they're going to err on the side of the pharmaceutical industrial complex every single time. But when it comes to wearing a face diaper, they're saying no, doesn't do anything, even though Rachel here says that it made a big difference for him. And things are mutating, so grab a mask up. I just don't understand the disconnect between the reality, the study, the most comprehensive scientific study ever did on the topic. It doesn't work, okay? And, you know, rock stars, they don't know. Rock stars, in many cases, in Skid Row, Sebastian Bach especially, he was like, I'm sure he hasn't read the New York Times study. Pretty sure. Same with Gene Simmons. Same with Dee Snider. All those guys who just pushed and pushed and pushed and basically pushed to destroy their own industry. That's what they were doing. And they were smiling about it. Yeah, this is great. Let's just lock everyone down. Make sure you wear your masks. Take your magic potion, and maybe in a couple of years, we'll see you out on the road as we destroy our industry. Anyway, here's a band that's trying to keep the industry alive. They're called the Defiance. I don't know what the Defiance think about face masks, okay? So I'm not speaking for them. I'm just saying that their music, at least, is trying to keep this alive. Their album is called Drive, and what you ought to do is drive far away from New York City, right? Drive far away from places that want to lock you down and take away your dignity and your human rights and your ability to just function in society. And don't take your medical advice from rock stars. Don't even take it from me. Do your own research. I mean, I'm just reading this article from this very conservative newspaper, and they've concluded that these things do not work. All right. So there you go. That's it. Done. Another video in the can. Please subscribe. Don't forget to also patronize if you can. You can buy me a coffee. You can become a patron. You can become a YouTube member. I need all the help I can get. Videos like this won't endear me to the algorithm, which tends to shy away. I'm curious to see how many views this video gets. But anyway, thanks for watching. God bless everyone. Please pray for peace in the Middle East. Don't pray for war. Don't pray for more war funding either. Fix some roads and bridges, and then we'll talk about helping other countries. Pray for peace, because that is what the Prince of Peace would want.